the Civil Aviation Minister of India, Jyotiraditya Scindia, joining us at this stage. Good evening, Mr. Scindia. Thanks very much for being with us. Infrastructure spends and infrastructure development are obviously critical in whichever aspect of the economy that we look at. Do you believe that enough was said and done in this interim budget to indicate that that will remain a core focus?
What will remain the core focus, Vishnu, is the rise of India, the move of India under Prime Minister Modi to become an Atmanirbhar country, the move of India under Prime Minister Modi to become a Vishwaguru, the move of India under Prime Minister Modi to move from being a Vikashsheel Desh to a Viksit Desh. And everything as part of the budget or policy making, that is the core element around which everything revolves. We have very clearly identified 4 sectors: women, youth, the Kisan, farmers, and the economically deprived. And I think if you are able to make sure that the empowerment of these 4 sectors happen, then you will see the wholesome growth of India. India cannot grow, as the Prime Minister said, through just purely few verticals. Every single individual across 140 crore of Indians needs to be empowered. And therefore the thrust on PM Kisan Samman Nidhi, therefore the thrust on PM Fasal Bima Yojana, therefore the thrust on nano urea. Would you and I ever have thought that nano urea will ultimately replace DAP and other forms of fertilizer? But that's something that's on the anvil. So there is innovation, there is new way of thinking, there is bringing international technology right down to the grassroots, permeate to the grassroots level, at the base level happening in India. The application of drones in the agrarian sector, the application of drones for cadastral surveys to get your rights on your property in rural India, which could have never been thought of before. The fact that a citizen in rural India today can take a loan, avail of a loan facility based on his cadastral survey, something that could never be contemplated before. Similarly for youth, the fact that you've got 7 IITs, 7 IIMs that have been set up in the last 9 years, close to about 16 or 17 AIMS institutes, 390 universities, a 1 lakh crore fund that's being put up for new ideas and incubators in terms of a loan facility for youth. The skilling of youth through the skill mission. The engagement of the youth with Pariksha Par Charcha. So all of these are coming together of the mission mode that the Prime Minister is on.
But Minister,
similarly, the same for women.
Sure.
The empowerment of women through 1/3 in Lok Sabha, the triple talaq being done away with, the women being part of the Asha network, being part of the Ayushman card, 10 crore women getting Ujjwala Yojana facilities. And I myself have given out these facilities to many beneficiaries across the length and breadth of India, and the brightness in their face when they get these facilities, which were hitherto never even thought of.
Yeah.
The fact that you've got close to about 8 to 10 crore women in SAGs, of which the Prime Minister wants to convert 2 to 3 crore into Lakhpati Didis.
Right.
And my drone of the Civil Aviation Ministry is a part of that, where 10,000 women will be trained on drones. They will be given drones at close to 80% of a subsidy. They will be given the insurance for drones, and then they will become drone pilots in rural India. So this is the massive transformation that India is looking at, much aside from the huge capex program of building ports, highways, railways, metros, airports. So look at the huge move that India has gone on. And let me just sum it up by saying that video of President Macron in Jaipur, along with Prime Minister Modi, where he buys President Macron a cup of tea, a cup of chai in Jaipur and he buys it through his UPI mobile app. And President Macron then comments that, can you give me this technology? Here is a case of a Western leader asking for technology from India that is a made in India technology.
Yes. Mr. Scindia, even your political opponents certainly are lauding you as far as capex announcement and infrastructure push is concerned. But they say that the government is not presenting the real picture of inequality, that the government is not presenting the right picture of unemployment, that you talk about alternate employments, but the CMI data, which is the traditional form of looking at employment figures, have not presented the right picture. They aren't really talking about the employment opportunities that the government seems to be projecting about.
Maria, it's good to hear you. It's a pleasure to be on the show with you and Vishnu. As usual, what else can you expect from the opposition, Maria? They have a stinted vision. They had a 10-year tenure where they did no translation of grassroots development. We had former prime ministers who said that 100 rupees would be sent from the center and only 15 rupees would reach the Labharthi. Today, through DBT, close to about 28 lakh crore rupees have been transferred without 1 rupee being siphoned left or right, straight to the beneficiary. 2.74 lakh crore of government money has been saved through the use of IT, of direct transfer into people's accounts. Employment has been created across the spectrum. The PLI schemes that that Prime Minister has brought about have brought in a new era of value addition in each one of our sectors, whether it's electronics, whether it's semiconductors, whether it's telecom, whether it's drones, whether it's specialty steel, whether it is textile. So India is no longer an exporter and a manufacturer of commodity alone. It is now a manufacturer and exporter of value-added products. And that's where the maximum margin comes in. That leads to greater employment. Take my sector alone. You've had the first final assembly line of C295 aircraft, joint venture between Airbus and Tata, happen for the first time in India.
Yep.
You've got Boeing sourcing close to $1 billion worth of products from India. You've got Airbus sourcing close to $750 million worth of products from India. Airbus has announced with Tata the Accurel helicopter being produced in India. So if that is not creating employment, then what is?
Sure.
Today, India is the second largest mobile producer for the world, the third largest automobile producer for the world. And please don't forget that we are coming on the backdrop of a huge hammer that the world has faced in terms of COVID. And even in that environment, a country that is today producing 6.7% GDP growth rate, where the IMF and the World Bank chief themselves are saying, India, which was a bogey in the train of growth of the world, has today become the engine of growth for the world. India today is producing 15% of growth of the world GDP alone as a country. That is the transformation that has taken place under Prime Minister Modi.
All right. Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia, thank you very much for giving us the larger picture of what this budget is all about and the vision of India and indeed what we have achieved.